Welcome to the Business Buyer Diaries. My name is Nathan Platter. I'm a full-time employee, and I bought a business. I did everything right, from finding the deal, handling all the due diligence on 63 opportunities, and ultimately bought a profitable gym. And boy, was I in for a big surprise as a new owner. I chronicled everything in real time, including the biggest wins to the stressful nights at 2 a.m. I'm sharing my journey without sugarcoating anything, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Here's today's episode. Man, now we're on 3 recordings for the day. This is crazy. Just had another chance to practice my breathing. So what happened? I got like a random, what was it? Is it like a letter or an email from my lender? I'm really glad I did. I was looking for this to happen, but my loan is through a bank. My checking account is through the same bank. Credit card is through the same bank. So in one login, I can see all lines, all accounts, everything, which is really nice. For the ones who highly recommend it, I'm glad I did that. Like, hey, your loan payment is past due. So I go, what loan payment? It's on auto pay. So I went and find out, okay, my SBA loan payment is not on auto pay. All right, how much do I own? $11,500. Oh my gosh, I thought that was an auto pay. Did not get that set up. So automate the auto pay and make sure you have it set up so that it doesn't drain your account. You have protection in place, all that stuff. But I'm kind of mad because the rent payment went out for $8,000. We did payroll yesterday for $6,000, $8,000. I can't remember what it was. And then now this SBA loan payment. So in the past 2 days, we've had, $25,000 leave the checking account. Oh, come on, man. It's expensive. And it's just a reminder that we need to have strong revenue. And so when I've been looking at our accounts, I've been looking on a cash basis. And so now we're below our normal cash basis for what the business does. And so I'm having to readjust my zone of normalcy. It's because the first month was just garbage. There were no leads, nothing was coming in, there were no sales. We missed a starting strong window, and that really sucked. That was rough. And so in my head, I keep comparing back to all right, the opening day we had the checking account. I think the bench base was 42 or 44,000. And so now today we're at 31,000. So oh, come on. We were at the same split spot. And it's okay, well, no, let's call a spade a spade. That first month was rough and we were down from where we were supposed to be. So when you look at the second month onward, that's normal. So in terms of business planning, is the business overall where it should be? If you ignore month 1, yes, it's doing well. If you take everything in from the acquisition, no, we're behind schedule. And so realizing, all right, something's got to adjust. Something's got to take up. The past week, we've been doing $150 a day on ads. In my mind, that's not sufficient. When we're in a very cyclical sales cycle, every 3 months, we have a 6-week push. So half the time we're not selling, we're only fulfilling. The other half of the time, it's go, 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 marketing, blitz, spend, go. And so now we're in our blitz, and we're not really hard blitzing. We're kind of above average blitzing. And so I'm kind of getting a little crabby about it. And so I reached out to a group that does higher end sales and packaging for studios. And similar offer, they also guarantee their work. And so what I'm contemplating is pitting one studio against the other. So the first studio will work with the first agency. Second studio will work with this other agency that I'm vetting slowly over time. And they do very expensive packages. So this first agency, they're all about the leads. They're all about, we set you up. Here's where they're very good at monitoring the digital campaigns. That's their expertise, monitoring the digital campaigns, optimizing them, getting the most value and bang for your buck. This other agency I'm checking out, they're all about have a high ROAS or a high value sale, because it's all about the revenue at the end of the month. That's the big measurement stick. And so their big thing is don't go after the number of leads or number of members or whatever. Go for the volume of revenue. So instead of doing kind of a crazy example, but our studio is typically $150 to $180 a month. Let's just say it's $150. Studio A that I'm really liking, not the first studio that was a bait and switch. They're long gone. But this first studio that I'm liking, that they're doing great work. Their thing is all about, let's get the quantity in there so that you can get the revenue you're looking for. And so, all right, well, let's let's pretend we want to get a $30,000 bump in revenue. $30,000. So that's going to be $150 a member. That's so each member is going to do like a challenge. It's $500. So 30,000 members or $3,000 in revenue, $500 a member. That means we need to sell 60 challenges. All right, cool. That's the math for it. Oh, and now we figure out our cost per acquisition is $150. We need 60 people. That's a $9,000 marketing campaign. Cool. That's what we're working with. That's how Agency One does it. This other coach that I'm checking out, or coach selling sales system, I don't know what to call them. They do a thing where let's do very executive high-end sales. And then when you do your price sheet and like, hey, here's our membership options, you start with the $2,000 to $8,000 option. In my mind, like four is a pretty good number. So, all right, let's start with the $4,000 number. And if you have the sale the right way, you go about it properly, what you'll do is, well, according to them, half of the people will buy this $4,000 package if you do it correctly, which seems really, really, that sounds too good to be true. But from there, like people, like if they legitimately can't get it, they're not buying into what you're saying, then you say, all right, well, we have our mid-ticket and then like our starter spot, because you got to do something. And so our plan B is you could do something that's $1,200, or we have like just a basic monthly $180 a month option. And instead of it being like a $500 or nothing or $160 or nothing, they're now evaluating $4,000. I can't do that. I'm like, okay, well, we have something that's almost as good, but it's a lot more basic. And people will be like, okay, yeah, I'll take the cheaper option, $180 a month or the $1,200 option. So either way, you end up getting something that's fine. And you get a sale at the end of it. And so for that one, to still hit that $30,000 in revenue, let's just say I sold 4 people at $4,000 each, that's $16,000. And now to get their meeting, $14,000, it'd be an additional 7 to 10 sales. So now you're selling 15 people. And when I say selling people, I don't mean like I'm tricking them. Like I'm talking about it very transactionally because it's old habit. But now you're selling and doing and finding 4 plus, what is that? 4 plus 10, so 14 people a month, plus the ongoing EFTs afterward, instead of the 60. And if you get the same revenue for 1/4 of the people, it's so much easier to manage, easier to give higher quality per member experience. It's well worth it. And so I'm going to give these guys a go. This first studio, I think they're very nuanced to change, and they take a little bit of time to test the waters and break the mold. So with this higher end executive experience, I don't want to do that on this first studio. I want to let them run with what's currently working. And for the second studio, I think I'll bring them in for that. I'm still trying to gauge what to do or how to run it. But that's where we're at. And so breathing, checking my anxiety, like, all right, we've got, what is it, 30,000 in the bank, 60,000 in line of credit, $100,000 in personal lines of credit. If things are going south, there's a lot of cushion. Keep this thing afloat. But it's not the end of the world. We're not going to die. No one is going to prison. Let's breathe. Let's think. We're going to think with our long-term hat. We're going to expand our horizon, expand our time horizon. Keep Courtney in the loop because she is a business partner and she's involved in all that. She needs to know what's going on. So that's my responsibility to do. And how do we run this business well? Because I've elevated the costs, so we have to elevate the revenue. And the revenue is going to take a little bit of finagling more than I thought. That's where we're at. That's where we're going. Let's rock and roll. This has been another episode of the Business Buyer Diaries. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I hope you're realizing that business ownership is no cakewalk. Check the podcast notes for a link to the DIY due diligence program, the complete list of show sponsors, and for media inquiries. Music written and composed by Wes Schrock. I'm your host, Nathan Platter. Join me again on the next one.